There's something absolutely fascinating that traditional Chinese Feng Shui masters discovered centuries ago about the relationship between living plants and the flow of prosperity energy in our spaces. Ancient practitioners observed patterns that modern Feng Shui experts are still validating today. Certain plants don't just beautify our homes and offices, they actually work like magnets for wealth energy, pulling abundance toward us in ways that might surprise you. I'm Grandmaster Lin, with 40 years of experience studying traditional Chinese metaphysics, Feng Shui, and astrology. Today, I want to share comprehensive insights about the top 5 lucky plants for 2026 that can transform your financial energy. And this is going to be a deep dive, so get comfortable. We're going to explore not just which plants attract wealth, but exactly why they work, how to position them, how to care for them, and the profound traditional wisdom behind each one. Now, before we dive into these specific plants, let me give you some context that'll help you understand why this matters so much for 2026 in particular. In my previous teachings about the 2026 year energy, I mentioned that one of the biggest challenges we'll all face is around financial capital and cash flow. The money energy in 2026 is going to be more difficult. It's going to require more effort for money to flow smoothly into our lives. This isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to prepare you. And one of the most powerful, accessible ways to support better financial flow is through the strategic placement of these wealth-attracting plants. Over my 4 decades of practice, I've walked into countless offices of successful entrepreneurs, politicians, and professionals. And here's what I've noticed without exception. Before you even enter the main office, while you're still in the garden or lobby, you see these plants. The big bosses, the truly wealthy individuals, they have these specific plants prominently displayed. Sometimes they're in the reception area, sometimes right outside the CEO's office door, sometimes lining the pathways to the entrance. These aren't just decorations. These plants are performing a critical function in the Feng Shui of that space. Let me explain what's really happening energetically. Every space, whether it's a home, an office, or a business, has energy flowing through it constantly. In Chinese, we call this qi or qi. Now, in any space where people gather, especially in business environments, there are disagreements, there are tense conversations, there are difficult decisions being made. All of this creates different types of energy, some positive, some negative, some excessive, some depleted. What happens when energy becomes imbalanced? Opportunities start to slip away. Money becomes harder to earn. Relationships become strained. Decision-making becomes clouded. This is where plants come in as what I call silent regulators. Plants have the natural ability to regulate the flow of energy in a space. If there's too much aggressive yang energy, maybe from constant arguments or high-stress situations, plants help calm and balance it. If there's stagnant, depleted energy, maybe from a space that feels dead or uninspiring, plants revitalize and refresh it. They're literally filtering the energy, cleaning it, balancing it, and creating an environment where abundance can flow more freely. Think about it this way. You know how an air purifier cleans the air you breathe? Plants work similarly, but on an energetic level. They're purifying the energetic atmosphere of your space. And when the energy is clean, balanced, and flowing properly, what happens? Better decisions get made. Opportunities become more visible. Relationships improve. And yes, money flows more easily. Now, you might be wondering, how exactly do plants attract abundance? It's not magic, though it might seem magical when you experience the results. In traditional Feng Shui wisdom, we understand that everything in the universe is connected through energy. Plants are living things. They grow, they breathe, they respond to their environment. This living quality means they're actively participating in the energy exchange of your space. When you place the right plant in the right location, that plant becomes an anchor point for specific types of beneficial energy. Let me break this down even further. In Feng Shui, we work with something called the Bagua map, which divides any space into 9 areas, each governing different aspects of life: wealth, health, relationships, career, and so on. When we place specific plants in specific Bagua areas, we're essentially activating that area's potential. We're saying to the universe, to the energy of that space, I'm ready to receive more of this type of blessing. The plant becomes a physical representation of your intention, and because it's alive and growing, it keeps that intention active 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But here's what's crucial to understand. Not all plants work the same way. Some plants are better for romantic relationships. Some are better for health. Some are better for career advancement. And the 5 plants I'm going to share with you today. These are specifically the most powerful plants for attracting wealth, money, and financial stability in 2026. These are the plants that traditional masters have observed over centuries of practice to have the strongest connection to prosperity energy. Before we get into the specific plants, I want to share something important. You might already have some of these plants in your home or office right now. Many people do. They bought them because they looked nice, or someone gave them as a gift, and they placed them wherever there was space. And you know what? Even positioned randomly, these plants are still providing some benefit. But imagine how much more powerful they could be if you understood exactly where to place them, how to care for them, and how to activate their wealth-attracting properties. That's what we're going to explore together. With the rainy seasons we're experiencing, this is actually the perfect time to start growing these plants. They'll thrive in this weather, and by the time we move deeper into 2026, they'll be healthy and strong, working at full power to support your financial goals. Some of these plants are so common that you don't even need to buy them. You can ask friends, family members, or colleagues who have them for a cutting or a small plant. In traditional practice, receiving a prosperity plant as a gift is actually considered even more auspicious than buying one yourself. Now, let me address something before we continue. The knowledge I'm sharing with you isn't just mine. It comes from centuries of Feng Shui masters, from classical texts, from generations of practitioners who carefully observed and documented which plants created which effects. This is ancient wisdom that has been tested over time. I've personally witnessed the transformation that happens when people properly implement these teachings. I've seen businesses turn around, families achieve financial stability they'd been struggling for, individuals suddenly receive unexpected opportunities. So please take this seriously, even if it seems simple. All right, let's dive into our first lucky plant for 2026. The peace lily, bringing clarity and financial wisdom. The first plant on our list is the peace lily, known scientifically as Spathiphyllum. Now, when most people think about plants for wealth, they might not immediately think of the peace lily. They might think of bamboo or jade plants first. But let me tell you why the peace lily deserves this top position, especially for 2026. The peace lily is fundamentally about one thing that's absolutely critical for financial success: mental clarity. Think about every financial decision you've ever made. The good ones, the ones that worked out well. How were you feeling when you made them? Chances are you were calm, focused, clear-headed. You could see the situation objectively. You weighed the options carefully. Now think about the financial decisions that didn't work out so well. Often, weren't you stressed, confused, overwhelmed, or rushed when you made those choices? This is exactly what the peace lily addresses. In Feng Shui philosophy, we understand that wealth isn't just about money flowing in, it's about wisdom in managing that money. You can have money pour into your life, but if you make poor decisions about how to use it, invest it or protect it, you'll lose it just as quickly as it came. The peace lily specifically helps create an environment of mental peace and clarity that supports wise financial decision-making. Let me explain the deeper energetics of this. The peace lily has beautiful white flowers, pure white, elegant, simple. In Chinese culture and Feng Shui tradition, white represents purity, cleanliness, and clarity. When we talk about purity in the context of money and wealth, we're talking about decisions that aren't clouded by greed, fear, desperation, or confusion. We're talking about seeing situations as they truly are, not as we hope they are, or fear they might be. The peace lily works on your mental state. When you have this plant in your space, especially in your office or near where you make important decisions, it helps quiet the mental noise. You know, that constant chatter in your mind, the worries, the doubts, the what-ifs, the second-guessing. That mental noise is actually a form of energy pollution, and it blocks your ability to tap into your natural wisdom and intuition about money matters. Here's something I've observed over my 40 years of practice. The most successful people, the ones who consistently make good financial decisions, aren't necessarily the smartest in terms of IQ or education. What they have is the ability to remain calm under pressure, to think clearly even when situations are complex, and to trust their judgment. The peace lily supports exactly these qualities. In traditional Feng Shui, we say that the peace lily brings spiritual balance and stability. What does this mean practically? It means that when you're facing a business challenge, a financial dilemma, or an opportunity that requires significant investment, having a peace lily in your space helps you approach that situation from a place of inner stability rather than reactiveness. You won't be easily rattled. You won't make decisions out of panic or excessive excitement. You'll be grounded and centered. Now let's talk about the historical and cultural context of the peace lily in Feng Shui practice. While the peace lily itself originated in the tropical Americas and wasn't part of ancient Chinese horticulture, modern Feng Shui masters began incorporating it into practice in the mid-20th century as Feng Shui spread globally and practitioners encountered new plant species. The principles, however, are ancient. The concept of using white-flowered plants to purify space energy and promote clarity goes back many centuries in Chinese tradition. Traditional masters would use white lotus flowers, white chrysanthemums, and other white-blooming plants for similar purposes. When Feng Shui masters encountered the peace lily, they recognized immediately that it carried the same essential energy signature. What made the peace lily particularly valuable was its ability to thrive indoors, its low-maintenance nature, and the fact that it blooms frequently, meaning you could maintain that white flower energy consistently rather than seasonally. The shape and growth pattern of the peace lily is also significant. Notice how the plant grows. The leaves emerge from a central point and spread outward in all directions. This growth pattern represents balanced expansion, which is exactly the type of financial growth we want. Not explosive, unstable growth that's likely to collapse, but steady, balanced expansion in all directions. The white flower emerges from the center and rises above the leaves, which Feng Shui practitioners interpret as clarity and wisdom, rising above the everyday concerns and confusion. Let me give you very specific guidance on how to position and care for your peace lily to maximize its Feng Shui benefits. The ideal locations for a peace lily are your office, your living room, or near the entrance of your home. Each of these placements serves a specific purpose. If you place the peace lily in your office, especially near your desk or workspace, it creates an environment that supports clear thinking during your work hours. This is particularly beneficial if your work involves financial planning, business strategy, negotiations, or any decision-making that impacts money flow. Every time you sit down to work, you're in the energetic field of the peace lily, and it's subtly supporting your mental clarity. If you place it in your living room, it affects the energy of the entire household. Financial decisions aren't just made at work, they're made at home too. Discussions about family finances, budgeting, major purchases, investments, these conversations often happen in the living room. Having a peace lily there helps ensure these discussions remain calm and productive rather than becoming arguments or sources of stress. Placing a peace lily near your entrance is particularly powerful. In Feng Shui, the entrance is called the mouth of Qi. It's where energy enters your home. When you place a peace lily near the entrance, it filters the energy coming into your home. You and everyone who enters, family members, guests, anyone, they're all passing through the purifying influence of the peace lily. This means they're leaving stress, negativity, and confused energy at the door and entering with a clearer, calmer state of mind. There's another placement I want to mention that's particularly beneficial: the bedroom. Now, not all Feng Shui practitioners agree on having plants in the bedroom, but I've found that the peace lily is an exception. If you place a peace lily in your bedroom, near a window, or on a terrace connected to your bedroom, it supports restful sleep and peaceful dreams. And here's why this matters for wealth. Your subconscious mind processes information and makes connections while you sleep. When you sleep peacefully with a clear mind, you often wake up with solutions to problems, new ideas for making money, or clarity about decisions you've been struggling with. Now let's talk about care, because remember, a sick, unhealthy plant blocks blessings rather than attracting them. The peace lily is actually quite forgiving and relatively easy to care for, which is one reason it's so popular. The peace lily prefers indirect light. It can tolerate low light conditions, which makes it perfect for offices and homes that don't have a lot of natural sunlight. However, if you want it to bloom regularly, and you do want those white flowers for maximum Feng Shui benefit, give it bright, indirect light. Near a window with a sheer curtain is perfect. For watering, the peace lily will actually tell you when it needs water. When it starts to droop slightly, that's your signal. Water it thoroughly, and within hours you'll see it perk back up. In general, you want to keep the soil lightly moist but not waterlogged. Overwatering is actually more harmful than underwatering for this plant. I recommend checking the soil with your finger. If the top inch is dry, it's time to water. The peace lily appreciates humidity, which means it does particularly well in bathrooms if you have a bathroom with a window. Some practitioners actually recommend this placement because bathrooms can have stagnant or heavy energy, and the peace lily helps keep that energy fresh and clean. Here's an important care tip that many people miss: dust the leaves regularly. When the leaves are covered in dust, the plant can't properly participate in the energy exchange of your space. Plus, dusty leaves look unhealthy, and remember, the appearance of health matters in Feng Shui. Once a week, gently wipe the leaves with a damp cloth. This simple act not only keeps the plant healthy, but also shows respect and care for the tool that's helping improve your financial energy. If your peace lily isn't blooming, it usually means it needs more light, or it needs fertilizer. You can use a balanced, water-soluble fertilizer once a month during the growing season. The blooms are important. Each white flower is a renewal of the clarity and purity energy in your space. Now, let me share something that goes deeper into the traditional wisdom. In classical Feng Shui texts, there's a principle called Sheng Qi, generating energy or growth energy. This is the energy of new beginnings, fresh starts, and positive momentum. White flowers are considered powerful generators of Sheng Qi because white contains all colors in the light spectrum. representing unlimited potential. When a peace lily blooms in your space, that bloom is generating Sheng Qi. This is particularly powerful for financial matters because new money opportunities, new business ventures, new sources of income, these all require Sheng Qi to manifest. So when you care for your peace lily and encourage it to bloom regularly, you're essentially maintaining a constant generator of opportunity-creating energy in your space. Here's something I want you to understand about the peace lily and 2026 specifically. Mentioned earlier that 2026 has challenging financial energy, particularly around cash flow and capital. One of the biggest obstacles people will face is decision paralysis, being so afraid of making the wrong financial choice that they make no choice at all and opportunities pass them by. Others will face the opposite problem, making impulsive financial decisions out of desperation or fear of missing out. The peace lily directly addresses both of these challenges. It helps dissolve decision paralysis by bringing clarity. When you can see clearly, decisions become easier, and it helps prevent impulsive decisions by promoting inner peace. When you're at peace internally, you're not reactive, you don't make choices out of fear or desperation. Let me give you some specific examples of how the peace lily's energy might manifest in your life. Let's say you're considering a business investment. Maybe a friend approaches you with an opportunity that sounds exciting, but also risky. Without the clarity support of the peace lily, you might get caught up in the excitement and overlook red flags, or you might be so fearful of risk that you miss a genuine opportunity. With the peace lily in your space, here's what often happens instead. You find yourself able to ask clear questions without emotion clouding your judgment. You can assess the opportunity objectively. You can sit with the decision rather than feeling rushed. You might even find that answers come to you during quiet moments, maybe during meditation, or while sitting in your living room where the peace lily resides, or right after waking up if you have one in your bedroom. Another example, imagine you're in a job that's stable but not fulfilling, and you're considering a career change that could potentially increase your income but involves uncertainty. This is exactly the kind of decision that requires the clear, calm wisdom that the peace lily supports. With this plant in your space, you're more likely to make the choice that's genuinely right for you rather than the choice based on fear or what others expect. For business owners, the peace lily is invaluable. Business requires constant decision-making, hiring decisions, investment decisions, pricing decisions, partnership decisions. When you have a peace lily in your office, you're creating an environment where you can make these decisions from a place of clarity rather than stress. Your employees and partners will also feel the difference. Meetings will be more productive, conflicts will be easier to resolve, and creative solutions will flow more easily. Now let's talk about how the peace lily interacts with the 5 elements of Feng Shui: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Understanding this adds another layer to how you can use this plant effectively. The peace lily itself is primarily a wood element plant because it's alive and growing. Wood energy represents growth, expansion, and new beginnings, all qualities that support wealth building. However, the white flowers introduce metal element energy. In the 5-element theory, metal represents precision, clarity, and refinement, exactly the mental qualities the peace lily promotes. Now here's where it gets interesting. In the productive cycle of the 5 elements, water nourishes wood and wood nourishes fire. The peace lily, being a wood element plant that requires regular watering, is constantly participating in this productive cycle. When you water your peace lily, you're not just taking care of a plant, you're actively engaging with the wood and water elements, supporting growth and flow. If your personal element is water, you'll find that the peace lily responds particularly well to your care. Water element people are naturally intuitive and adaptive, and the peace lily will amplify these qualities, making you even better at reading financial situations and adapting to changing markets or opportunities. If your personal element is fire, the peace lily helps balance your natural tendency toward impulsiveness. Fire element people are passionate and quick to act, which can be a strength but also a weakness in financial matters. The peace lily's calming influence helps fire people maintain their enthusiasm while adding the clarity and thoughtfulness that prevents impulsive mistakes. Earth element people and the peace lily work together beautifully for building stable long-term wealth. Earth represents stability and accumulation, and when combined with the peace lily's clarity, you get someone who makes solid, well-thought-out financial decisions that build wealth steadily over time. Metal element people might find they need to put extra care into their peace lily because metal can sometimes cut or restrict wood energy. However, when a metal person successfully nurtures a peace lily, the result is extraordinary precision in financial matters. They can analyze opportunities with incredible clarity and make decisions with confidence. Wood element people have a natural affinity with the peace lily. The plant will thrive under their care, and they'll find that their natural growth-oriented approach to finances becomes even more effective when supported by the peace lily's wisdom-enhancing properties. Let me share some traditional wisdom that I've gathered over 40 years of practice, specifically regarding the peace lily and financial energy. Ancient Feng Shui masters taught that every living thing in your space is either supporting you or draining you. There's no neutral. A healthy, well-cared-for peace lily actively supports you every single day. But a neglected, dying peace lily actually blocks blessings because it represents neglect and decline. This is why I'm so emphatic about plant care. It's not just about aesthetics. When you commit to keeping a peace lily healthy, you're making a commitment to your own clarity and wisdom. You're telling the universe, I value clear thinking, I value wise decisions, I'm worthy of financial wisdom. And the universe responds to that commitment. Here's another piece of traditional wisdom. The peace lily is particularly powerful during times of transition. If you're starting a new business, changing careers, moving to a new home, or making any major life change that has financial implications, having a peace lily during that transition period provides energetic support for making clear-headed decisions during uncertainty. Now, I want to address some common misconceptions about the peace lily in Feng Shui. Some people think that because it's associated with funerals in some Western cultures, white flowers are often used in funeral arrangements, it might bring sad or negative energy. This is actually a misunderstanding. In Chinese culture, white flowers represent purity and respect, not sadness. The peace lily's white flowers are symbols of pure intention and clear understanding. These are highly positive qualities for wealth attraction. Another misconception is that you need a huge peace lily to get Feng Shui benefits. Not true. Even a small peace lily on your desk or a shelf is working energetically. What matters more than size is the health and care of the plant. A small, healthy, blooming peace lily is far more powerful than a large, neglected one. Some people also think they need to place the peace lily in a specific corner or direction for it to work. While there are optimal positions, which I'll discuss more when we talk about overall plant placement, the peace lily is actually quite flexible. Its primary job is purifying and clarifying energy, which benefits your space regardless of exactly where it sits. Let me give you advanced understanding now, the kind of knowledge that serious practitioners need to know. The peace lily works on what we call the Shen level of energy. In Chinese metaphysics, we recognize 3 levels of energy in humans: Jing, physical essence; Qi, life force; and Shen, spirit consciousness. Most Feng Shui remedies work on the Qi level, but the peace lily, because it specifically affects mental clarity and spiritual peace, works on the Shen level. This is actually quite rare and very powerful. When you affect someone's Shen, their consciousness, their clarity of mind, their spiritual peace, you're affecting the level that makes decisions. And decisions, especially financial decisions, shape destiny. So by working on the Shen level, the peace lily is actually one of the most profound Feng Shui tools available, even though it might seem simple. Advanced practitioners also understand that the peace lily creates what we call a field of clarity. This isn't just metaphorical. Sensitive people can actually feel it. When you enter a room with a healthy peace lily, especially one that's blooming, there's a subtle shift in how your mind feels. Thoughts slow down slightly, become clearer, more organized. It's subtle but real. This field of clarity extends several feet around the plant. This is why placement near your workspace or seating area is so effective. You're literally sitting within the field of clarity that the plant generates. Over time, being regularly within this field begins to affect your baseline mental state. You become naturally clearer in your thinking, even when you're away from the plant. For those of you who are truly serious about using Feng Shui for wealth building in 2026, here's an advanced practice. You can actually program your peace lily with intention. When you water it or care for it, take a moment to hold a clear intention in your mind. I make wise financial decisions. I see opportunities clearly. I choose prosperity. The plant will absorb this intention and amplify it. This isn't superstition. It's working with the conscious relationship between yourself and the living energy of the plant. Now, before we move to our second plant, let me give you a complete action plan for implementing the peace lily in your space for 2026 wealth building. Step 1. Acquire a healthy peace lily. If you can receive one as a gift from someone who is financially successful, that's ideal because you're receiving a plant that's already been in a prosperous environment. If you're buying one, choose a plant that's actively blooming or showing signs of new growth. Step 2. Choose your placement based on your specific needs. If you need clarity around a particular financial decision, place it in the room where you contemplate that decision. If you need overall improvement in financial wisdom, place it in your office or workspace. If you want to improve the financial harmony of your household, place it in the living room. Step 3. Establish a care routine. Decide which day each week you'll dust the leaves and check if watering is needed. Make this a mindful practice, not just a chore. As you care for the plant, acknowledge that you're tending to your own financial clarity. Step 4. Pay attention to how your decision-making changes over the next few weeks. You might notice that financial choices that previously felt overwhelming now feel more manageable. You might find solutions coming to you more easily. You might feel more confident in your judgment. Step 5. When the peace lily blooms, recognize this as a particularly auspicious time for making important financial decisions or initiating new money-making ventures. The bloom represents peak clarity energy. All right, now let's move to our second powerful wealth plant for 2026. The snake plant, your shield of protection and determination. The second plant on our list is the snake plant, scientifically known as Sansevieria. Now, this plant has a few different common names. Some people call it mother-in-law's tongue, others call it the snake plant, because of the upright sword-like shape of its leaves. And there's profound Feng Shui wisdom in understanding why it has these names and what they tell us about the plant's energy. Let me start by explaining what makes the snake plant absolutely essential for 2026, especially if you're in business, if you're in a leadership position, or if you're dealing with any situation where you face jealousy, competition, or obstacles to your financial success. The snake plant is fundamentally a protection plant. In Feng Shui, we recognize that building wealth isn't just about attracting money. It's also about protecting the money you have and protecting yourself from energies that would undermine your success. Think about it. You can work hard, make good decisions, and attract opportunities, but if you're constantly dealing with jealousy from others, betrayal, bad faith competitors, or even your own internal fears and doubts, that success becomes very difficult to maintain. This is exactly what the snake plant addresses. Its primary function in Feng Shui is to act as an energetic shield. Those upright, sword-like leaves aren't just a coincidence of nature. They represent defensive energy, protective energy, the energy of standing strong against challenges. Let me explain the deeper symbolism here. In traditional Chinese culture, swords represent protection, justice, and the cutting away of negative influences. The snake plant, with its sword-shaped leaves pointing upward, is constantly generating protective energy in your space. It's saying, negative energy stops here, harmful intentions are blocked, this space is protected. Now, why is this so critical for wealth building? Here's what I've observed over 40 years of practice. The bigger your success becomes, the more jealousy and negative attention you attract. This is just human nature. When you're struggling, people might sympathize. But when you start succeeding, especially financially, some people become envious. They might gossip about you, wish for your failure, or even actively try to undermine you. In Chinese metaphysics, we understand that jealousy and ill will aren't just emotional states, they're actual energetic forces that can affect you. When someone thinks negative thoughts about you consistently, they're directing negative energy toward you. If you're not protected, this negative energy can manifest as obstacles, setbacks, or drain on your good fortune. The snake plant is specifically powerful against what we call the evil eye, the harmful effect of envy and jealousy. When you have snake plants in your space, especially near entrances or along pathways where people enter, those plants are filtering out envious energy before it can affect you. Let me give you the historical and cultural context. The use of sword-shaped plants for protection goes back centuries in Chinese Feng Shui practice. Traditionally, plants like certain types of bamboo or reeds were used. When Feng Shui masters encountered the Sansevieria, native to Africa and Southern Asia, they immediately recognized its protective qualities. The plant's resilience, its ability to survive with minimal water and in various light conditions, was seen as a metaphor for the resilience it could provide to those who kept it. The nickname mother-in-law's tongue actually reinforces its protective quality in a cultural context. In traditional cultures, a protective mother-in-law who defends her family is highly valued. The idea is that just as a defensive mother-in-law won't let anyone speak badly about her family, the snake plant won't let negative energy affect your space. But the snake plant doesn't just protect against external negativity. It also addresses internal blockages. This is perhaps even more important because honestly, most of us are our own biggest obstacles to financial success. We doubt ourselves, we fear failure, we worry about what others will think, we sabotage opportunities because of imposter syndrome or because success feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. The upright, strong growth pattern of the snake plant represents determination and persistence. When you have this plant in your workspace, it energetically supports you in maintaining your determination, even when things get difficult. It helps you push through doubt and fear. It reminds you, on a subconscious level, to stand tall and stay strong. Let me explain how this works energetically. The snake plant is one of the few plants that continues to produce oxygen at night. Most plants only photosynthesize during the day, but the snake plant keeps working even in darkness. This quality is incredibly symbolic for wealth building. It represents the ability to keep progressing, keep working, keep generating results even during dark times, difficult periods, or when things seem hopeless. In business, you're going to face periods where everything feels difficult. Sales slow down, problems arise, competition increases. These are your night periods. The snake plant's energy supports you in continuing to move forward, continuing to generate oxygen for your business, continuing to stay determined, even when external circumstances are challenging. Now let's talk about specific placement and how to maximize the protective and determination-enhancing properties of the snake plant. This is where Feng Shui gets very precise and very powerful. The single most important placement for the snake plant is near your front door or main entrance. In Feng Shui, the entrance is called the mouth of Qi. It's where energy enters your space. Everything that enters your home or office, people, opportunities, energy, comes through that entrance. When you place snake plants near or around your entrance, they act as energetic guards, filtering what's allowed to enter. If you're in a position of leadership, a business owner, a politician, a community leader, anyone who deals with many people and is subject to envy, I strongly recommend placing snake plants along your fence line, your property boundary, or around your gate. This creates a protective perimeter around your entire property. Think of it like this: you have physical security for your home or business, right? Locks, maybe cameras, an alarm system. The snake plant is energetic security. It's protecting you from energetic intrusion the same way your locks protect you from physical intrusion. For offices, especially corporate environments with cubicles and office politics, placing a snake plant near your desk or in your cubicle creates a protective zone around your workspace. It helps deflect office gossip, jealousy from colleagues, or negative energy from a difficult boss. I've had clients report that after placing a snake plant in their cubicle, they noticed that office drama seemed to bypass them. They were no longer drawn into conflicts or targeted by gossip. Here's a specific recommendation for bathroom entrances. Now, you might wonder why bathrooms matter in Feng Shui. In traditional practice, bathrooms are considered challenging from an energy perspective because they're associated with draining and removal. This is necessary for hygiene, of course, but energetically, you don't want that draining energy spreading through your home or office. When you place a snake plant outside your bathroom door, it helps contain and transform the bathroom's energy. It prevents that draining energy from affecting the rest of your space. This is particularly important in offices where the bathroom is used by many people, each bringing their own emotional states and stresses. People often go to the bathroom when they're upset, when they need to cry, when they need to escape a stressful situation. All of that energy accumulates. The snake plant outside the door helps clear and transform it. For retail businesses or shops, place snake plants on either side of your entrance or reception area. This serves multiple purposes. It protects your business from negative energy brought in by difficult customers. It helps maintain positive energy in your store, and it creates a sense of strong, stable presence that customers subconsciously respond to positively. Now let's discuss varieties and care. The snake plant comes in several varieties, some with yellow edges, some all green, some shorter and wider, some tall and narrow. Here's important Feng Shui wisdom. All varieties of snake plant provide protection, but taller varieties with more pronounced upright leaves provide stronger protective energy. The most common variety, Sansevieria trifasciata, with its green leaves and yellow edges, is excellent for general use. The all-green variety, Sansevieria trifasciata honey, which stays shorter, works well for desk placement or smaller spaces. The Sansevieria cylindrica, with perfectly cylindrical leaves, is particularly powerful for cutting through dense negative energy. Regardless of variety, one of the greatest advantages of the snake plant for busy people is that it requires very little care. This plant is incredibly resilient. It can survive with infrequent watering, it tolerates both bright light and low light, and it's generally pest resistant. This resilience isn't just convenient, it's symbolically important. A plant that stays strong with minimal input represents independence, self-sufficiency, and resilience, all qualities that support financial success. For watering, the snake plant actually prefers to dry out completely between waterings. In fact, overwatering is the main way people kill snake plants. I recommend watering only when the soil is completely dry, which might be every 2 to 3 weeks depending on your climate and conditions. In winter, you might water even less frequently. The snake plant tolerates low light, which makes it perfect for offices or homes without much natural light, but it grows more vigorously in bright, indirect light. If you want your snake plant to grow quickly and produce new shoots, place it where it gets good light. Here's a care tip that enhances its Feng Shui properties. When you water your snake plant, water it thoroughly until water drains out the bottom, then don't water again until it's completely dry. This pattern of feast and famine actually makes the plant stronger. Symbolically, this mirrors the reality of business and wealth building. There are abundant times and lean times, and building resilience to handle both is crucial. Keep the leaves clean by wiping them occasionally with a damp cloth. Dusty leaves block the plant's ability to work energetically. Plus, clean, shiny snake plant leaves look powerful and healthy, which reinforces the protective energy. Now, let me share specific wisdom about how different Chinese zodiac signs can work with the snake plant. Each zodiac sign faces different types of challenges and has different vulnerabilities, and the snake plant can be positioned to address these specific issues. For those born in the year of the rat, you're naturally clever and quick thinking, but sometimes you worry excessively about what others think of your success. Place a snake plant in your office or workspace to help you stay focused on your goals rather than being distracted by others' opinions. For ox individuals, you're hardworking and dependable, but sometimes people take advantage of your willingness to carry heavy burdens. A snake plant near your workspace helps ensure that your hard work is properly recognized and protected from those who would claim credit for your efforts. Tiger people are brave and confident, which sometimes attracts jealousy from those who feel threatened by your strength. Place snake plants at your entrance to filter out envious energy before it reaches you. You need this protection because your natural boldness makes you visible, and visibility attracts both admirers and detractors. Rabbit individuals are diplomatic and kind, which means you sometimes avoid necessary confrontation. The snake plant supports you in standing firm when you need to protect your interests. Place it on your desk or in your office to remind you energetically that it's okay to defend yourself and your success. Dragon people naturally attract attention and admiration, but this also means you attract more jealousy than other signs. I strongly recommend multiple snake plants for dragons. At your entrance, in your office, and even in your bedroom. You need strong protective energy because your success and charisma make you a target for envy. Snake individuals have a natural affinity with the snake plant, obviously. You're wise and intuitive, but sometimes you second-guess yourself. The snake plant helps you trust your intuition and maintain your determination when pursuing financial opportunities. For horse people, you're energetic and enthusiastic, but sometimes you fear failure or worry about falling short of expectations. Snake plants help dissolve these fears by supporting your natural determination and helping you push through self-doubt. Goat individuals are creative and gentle, which means you might struggle with the competitive aspects of business. Place a snake plant in your workspace to give you energetic support for standing strong in competitive situations without compromising your gentle nature. Monkey people are clever and adaptable, but sometimes you take on too many projects or spread yourself too thin. The snake plant's energy of focused determination helps you maintain concentration on your most important financial goals. Rooster individuals are detail-oriented and perfectionist, which sometimes leads to fear of making mistakes. The snake plant supports you in taking necessary risks and moving forward even when you can't control every detail. Dog people are loyal and honest, which unfortunately means less ethical people sometimes try to take advantage of you. Strong snake plant protection at your entrance and workspace helps filter out those with bad intentions while allowing genuine opportunities through. Pig individuals are generous and trusting, which is beautiful but can make you vulnerable to manipulation or deception in business. Multiple snake plants create a protective field that helps you maintain your generous nature while being protected from those who would exploit it. Now let's discuss how the snake plant interacts with the 5 elements. The snake plant is primarily a wood element like all plants, because it's living and growing. However, its strong, upright, sword-like form also carries metal element qualities. In Chinese 5-element theory, metal represents sharpness, precision, and cutting through obstacles. This wood-metal combination makes the snake plant particularly powerful for protection because wood provides growth and life force, while metal provides the sharp, cutting energy that severs negative influences. It's like having both a shield, wood, and a sword, metal protecting you. For water element people, the snake plant provides grounding and protective structure. Water is flowing and adaptive, which is a strength, but sometimes water people need the solid, unwavering protection that the snake plant provides. Place it in your workspace to balance your fluid nature with steady determination. Fire element people and the snake plant create an interesting dynamic. Fire can sometimes be too quick to react, too impulsive. The snake plant's steady, unchanging energy helps fire people maintain their passionate drive while adding patience and persistence. This combination is excellent for fire element entrepreneurs who need to balance enthusiasm with long-term planning. Earth element people have a natural affinity with the snake plant because Earth values stability and protection. An Earth person caring for snake plants will find that their natural ability to build stable long-term wealth is enhanced and protected. Metal element people might initially clash with the strong wood energy of the snake plant, but when they work together successfully, the result is extraordinary protection and clarity. A metal person with well-maintained snake plants becomes nearly invulnerable to energetic attacks from jealousy or ill will. Wood element people and the snake plant are a natural match. Wood people understand growth and expansion, and the snake plant helps ensure that this growth is protected from those who would try to limit it or tear it down. Let me share some traditional wisdom specifically about the snake plant and its role in wealth protection. Ancient Feng Shui masters taught that wealth has three stages: attracting it, growing it, and keeping it. Many people focus only on attracting wealth, but the masters knew that protecting wealth is equally important. There's a traditional saying, "A fortune attracted but not protected is like water held in your hands, it will slip away." The snake plant is your tool for the protection stage. Once you start attracting wealth and success, the snake plant helps you keep it by protecting you from the negative energies that would drain it away: jealousy, betrayal, fear, self-sabotage, and external obstacles. Here's another piece of traditional wisdom. The snake plant is particularly powerful during challenging astrological periods. In 2026, those whose zodiac signs are in conflict with Tai Sui, the Grand Duke Jupiter, will face more obstacles and potential setbacks. For these individuals, snake plant protection is not just helpful, it's essential. The plant provides energetic support during a period when you're more vulnerable to difficulties. Let me address some common misconceptions about the snake plant. Some people worry that because it's called mother-in-law's tongue, which can sound negative in some cultures, it might bring family conflict. This is a complete misunderstanding. The name refers to the protective quality, a mother-in-law's fierce defense of family. This is positive protection, not conflict-causing energy. Another misconception is that the snake plant's sharp leaves create poison arrows or attacking energy. This is not correct. The leaves point upward, not at people. Upward-pointing leaves represent aspiration, reaching toward heaven, and protective energy standing guard. It's completely different from sharp objects pointed horizontally at people, which would indeed be problematic in Feng Shui. Some people also think the snake plant should only be used in offices, not homes. Not true. The snake plant is excellent in homes, particularly if you live in an apartment building where you're sharing walls with neighbors and their energy. Or if you live in a neighborhood where you feel competition or jealousy from neighbors. Now, for advanced understanding, the snake plant works on multiple energetic levels simultaneously. On the physical level, it purifies air by removing toxins. On the energetic level, it purifies the space by filtering negative chi. On the psychological level, its strong, upright presence affects your subconscious mind, reinforcing determination and resilience. On the spiritual level, it creates a protective field that deflects harmful intentions. Advanced practitioners understand that the snake plant doesn't just passively filter energy, it actively transforms negative energy into neutral or even positive energy. When envious thoughts or ill will encounter a snake plant, that negative energy is absorbed by the plant and transmuted. The plant takes that negative charge and neutralizes it, preventing it from affecting you. This is why it's important to occasionally clean your snake plant energetically, not just physically. Once every few months, you can wipe the leaves while holding the intention of clearing any absorbed negativity. Some practitioners like to do this during the full moon, as the full moon's energy is particularly good for cleansing and renewal. Here's an advanced practice for maximizing your snake plant's protective properties. When you first bring a snake plant into your space, you can activate it with specific intention. Hold the plant and mentally state or speak aloud, "I welcome you as a protector of this space. Filter and transform all negative energy. Support my determination and success. Thank you for your protection." This creates a conscious relationship between you and the plant, enhancing its effectiveness. For those serious about using Feng Shui for wealth protection in 2026, here's your complete action plan for implementing snake plants. Step 1. Assess your protective needs. Are you in a competitive field? Do you face jealousy? Do you struggle with self-doubt? Are you starting a new venture that feels risky? Your answers determine how many snake plants you need and where to place them. Step 2. Create a protective perimeter. Place snake plants at your main entrance first. This is non-negotiable. Every home or office should have snake plant protection at the entrance. Step 3. Add interior protection. Place snake plants in your office or workspace, outside bathroom doors, and in any area where you deal with money matters or important decisions. Step 4. Establish minimal care routine. Check monthly if watering is needed. Wipe leaves when dusty. Remove any damaged leaves promptly. Step 5. Notice changes in how you handle challenges. You might find that obstacles that would have previously stopped you now seem manageable. You might notice that you're less affected by others' negativity. You might feel more determined and persistent. The snake plant is your silent warrior, your energetic bodyguard for 2026. It asks very little from you, but provides powerful protection that will be essential as you build wealth in a challenging year. Now, let's move to our third essential wealth plant for 2026. The Jade Plant, the wealth accumulator. Our third lucky plant is perhaps the most famous wealth plant in all of Feng Shui, the Jade Plant, scientifically known as Crassula ovata. If you've ever walked into a Chinese business, restaurant, or successful person's home and seen a plant with thick, round, shiny leaves that look almost like coins, you are looking at a jade plant. The jade plant is probably the most widely recognized Feng Shui wealth plant, and there's very good reason for this. This plant has been used in Chinese and Asian cultures for wealth attraction for centuries, and its reputation is well deserved. Let me explain exactly why this plant is so powerful and why it absolutely must be part of your 2026 wealth strategy. The jade plant symbolizes accumulation, not just money flowing in and out, but money that stays, grows, and multiplies. Think about the difference between having a good income and having actual wealth. You can make good money, but if it all goes out as fast as it comes in, you're not building wealth. Wealth is accumulation. Money that comes in, stays, grows through investment or wise management, and creates more money. This is exactly what the jade plant represents and supports. The thick, fleshy leaves of the jade plant store water, allowing the plant to survive drought conditions. This ability to store resources is deeply symbolic. Just as the plant stores water, it energetically supports your ability to store wealth, to accumulate and retain money rather than letting it slip through your fingers. The shape of the leaves is extraordinarily significant. They're round or oval, resembling coins or gold pieces. In traditional Chinese culture, round jade pieces were actually used as currency at certain points in history. When Feng Shui masters saw the jade plant with its coin-like leaves, they immediately recognized it as a physical manifestation of wealth energy. But it's not just about the shape, it's about what the plant does naturally. The jade plant grows slowly but steadily. It doesn't shoot up overnight like some plants. Instead, it grows gradually, year after year, accumulating more leaves, more branches, becoming larger and more impressive over time. This growth pattern perfectly mirrors the kind of wealth building that actually works and lasts. Let me give you the historical and cultural context. The jade plant is native to South Africa, but it was adopted into Asian Feng Shui practice centuries ago when trade routes brought it to China. Chinese merchants and traders immediately recognized its auspicious qualities. The plant's resilience, its ability to thrive with minimal care, much like bamboo and snake plant, was seen as a sign of enduring fortune. In Feng Shui philosophy, we have a concept called Sheng Qi, or growing energy. This is the energy of steady, sustainable growth, not explosive growth that's likely to collapse, but the kind of patient, consistent growth that builds empires. The jade plant embodies Sheng Qi perfectly. Watching a jade plant grow over months and years teaches us the virtue of patience in wealth building. Traditionally, jade plants were often given as gifts for business openings, weddings, or other auspicious occasions. The giving of a jade plant was essentially saying, "May your wealth accumulate and grow steadily." It was common for successful businesses to have a matured jade plant displayed prominently. The size and health of the plant was actually seen as a reflection of the business's prosperity. Now here's something crucial to understand about the jade plant, and 2026 specifically. Remember, I mentioned that 2026 has challenging energy around financial capital and cash flow. One of the biggest challenges will be financial security, the feeling of stability, of having enough, of not being one emergency away from crisis. The jade plant directly addresses this challenge. Its energy supports not just income, but savings, investment, and accumulation. In a year where money might flow in less easily, having strong jade plant energy helps you hold on to what you earn and grow it wisely. Let me explain how this works on an energetic level. The jade plant, through its very presence and nature, affects your subconscious relationship with money. Many people have what we might call a scarcity consciousness. They feel like there's never enough, money is hard to keep, wealth is for other people but not them. This consciousness actually blocks accumulation because what you believe, you create. When you care for a jade plant, watching it slowly accumulate new leaves, seeing it grow steadily despite requiring little input from you, it begins to reprogram your subconscious beliefs about wealth. Your mind observes, growth can be steady and reliable. Accumulation happens naturally. Resources can be stored successfully. Wealth can grow with patient consistency. These aren't conscious thoughts. They're subconscious impressions that begin to change how you relate to money. You might find yourself more inclined to save. You might feel less anxious about finances. You might make investment decisions with more confidence. All of this stems from the subtle, energetic teaching the jade plant provides. Now let's talk about placement. And this is where we need to be very specific because the jade plant is particular about where it should be positioned for maximum Feng Shui benefit. The ideal location for a jade plant is the southeast corner of your office, living room, or shop. Southeast is the wealth corner according to the Bagua map of Feng Shui. This direction corresponds to the wood element and to wealth energy. When you place a jade plant, which is both a wood element plant and a wealth attracting plant, in the southeast corner, you're creating a powerful concentration of prosperity energy. How do you find your southeast corner? You need a compass. Use a compass app on your phone or a traditional compass. Stand in the center of your office or living room and identify which direction is southeast. That's where your jade plant should be. Now, if southeast isn't possible due to your space layout, maybe there's no good surface there, or it's a bathroom or some other conflict, your second best option is near your entrance, slightly to the side. The idea is that as wealth energy enters through your door, it encounters the jade plant immediately and is encouraged to stay and accumulate rather than flow straight through. Here's something very important about the pot or container for your jade plant. I strongly recommend using clay pots, not plastic, not ceramic, and definitely not glass or crystal. Why clay specifically? Because clay represents the earth element in Feng Shui. Earth is the element of stability, grounding, and accumulation. Earth supports wood, plants, and earth is also associated with storing and saving. When your jade plant wood element wealth plant is in a clay pot earth element stability and storage, you are creating a Feng Shui formula that says wealth grows steadily and is grounded in stable accumulation. This is exactly the energy we want. The color of the pot matters too. Terracotta, brownish clay colors are perfect. Avoid black pots, water element, which can drain wood, and avoid pure white or metallic pots, metal element, which cuts wood. Natural earth tones support your jade plant's wealth-attracting properties. Now let's discuss care, because the health of your jade plant directly correlates to your wealth accumulation energy. A healthy, thriving jade plant supports active wealth building. A struggling or dying jade plant actually blocks wealth energy. It's symbolically showing resources diminishing rather than accumulating. The jade plant is actually quite easy to care for if you understand its needs. It's a succulent, which means it stores water in its leaves and stems. This means it doesn't want frequent watering. In fact, overwatering is the fastest way to kill a jade plant. Water your jade plant only when the soil is completely dry. Stick your finger about an inch into the soil. If it feels even slightly damp, don't water yet. When you do water, water thoroughly until water drains from the bottom, then don't water again until it's dry. Depending on your climate, this might mean watering every 2 weeks, or even less frequently in winter. The jade plant needs good light to thrive. It prefers bright, indirect sunlight. Near a window is ideal, though not a window where it will get harsh, direct afternoon sun, which can actually burn the leaves. In lower light, the jade plant will survive but won't grow as vigorously. Remember, in Feng Shui, we want our wealth plants actively growing, not just surviving. Here's a care tip that enhances wealth energy. When your jade plant produces new leaves, that's an especially auspicious sign. New leaf growth represents new money coming in. When you notice new growth, take a moment to acknowledge it and express gratitude. This conscious recognition helps link the plant's growth with your financial growth in your subconscious mind. The jade plant can live for decades, literally generations. There are jade plants that have been passed down in families for 50 years or more. This longevity is another aspect of its wealth symbolism, building wealth that lasts, that can be passed to future generations. Keep your jade plant's leaves clean and shiny. Dusty, dull leaves block the plant's symbolic power. About once a month, gently wipe the leaves with a slightly damp cloth. As you do this, you can hold the intention of clearing away any obstacles to wealth accumulation in your life. Sometimes jade plants will drop leaves, especially older leaves at the base. This is natural. However, if many leaves are dropping, or if leaves are shriveling or yellowing, this indicates a problem, usually overwatering or insufficient light. Address these issues promptly because an unhealthy jade plant sends a message to the universe that your wealth is struggling. Now let me share specific guidance for each Chinese zodiac sign regarding how to maximize your jade plant's benefit. For rat people, you're naturally good with money and opportunities, but sometimes you worry too much about security. Your jade plant should be in a very visible location where you see it daily. Let its steady growth remind you that accumulation happens naturally when you make wise choices consistently. Ox individuals are patient and hardworking, which matches perfectly with the jade plant's energy. You have a natural affinity for this plant. Place it in your workspace and care for it regularly. You'll find that your patient approach to wealth building is energetically supported and accelerated. Tiger people are bold and ambitious, sometimes too quick to spend or invest in risky ventures. Your jade plant serves as an energetic reminder to balance bold action with steady accumulation. Place it where you handle finances to help you make decisions that build lasting wealth, not just exciting but unstable gains. Rabbit individuals are naturally cautious with money, which is generally good, but sometimes you miss growth opportunities because you're too conservative. Let your jade plant teach you that growth can happen steadily and safely. As you watch it grow, you'll develop more confidence in making investments that support accumulation. Dragon people often have money flow through their lives in dramatic waves, big wins followed by big losses. You need the jade plant's stabilizing energy more than most. Place it prominently in your wealth corner and let it help you smooth out those dramatic cycles into steadier accumulation. Snake individuals are wise with money, but sometimes you hold on too tightly, afraid to invest or grow your wealth. The jade plant shows you that resources stored in its leaves still allow for growth. The plant keeps growing. This helps you understand that saving and growth aren't opposites. They work together. Horse people are energetic and optimistic, sometimes spending freely when times are good, without saving for inevitable slower periods. Your jade plant is a teacher of accumulation. Place it where you pay bills or manage finances. Its presence will subtly encourage you to save even when you're feeling abundant. Goat individuals are creative and can be somewhat scattered with money. You might make good income, but wonder where it all goes. The jade plant's energy helps you become more conscious of accumulation. As you care for it and watch it grow, you'll find yourself naturally more attentive to saving and growing your wealth. Monkey people are clever and can make money in creative ways, but sometimes you're too clever for your own good, always looking for the next scheme instead of building steadily. The jade plant teaches you that sometimes the best strategy is simple, patient accumulation. Let its steady growth inspire you to value consistent building alongside your clever ideas. Rooster individuals are detail-oriented and generally good with money, but sometimes you worry excessively about every small expense. The jade plant helps you maintain your careful nature while trusting in steady growth. Place it in your wealth corner and let it remind you that consistent saving without excessive worry builds prosperity. Dog people are loyal and honest, sometimes giving too much of your resources to others instead of building your own wealth security. The jade plant encourages you to accumulate for yourself. It's not selfish, it's wise. The plant teaches that you can be generous and accumulate wealth. They aren't mutually exclusive. Pig individuals are generous and trusting with money, which can lead to financial instability despite good income. Your jade plant is particularly important for you. Place it in a central location and let its energy teach you to accumulate before giving, to build your own security while maintaining your generous spirit. Now let's explore how the jade plant interacts with the 5 elements and how this knowledge can enhance your wealth building. The jade plant is primarily a wood element because it's a living, growing plant. Wood represents growth, expansion, and upward-outward movement. In the productive cycle of elements, water nourishes wood. This is why proper watering, not too much, not too little, is crucial for both the plant's physical health and its Feng Shui effectiveness. The round, coin-like shape of the leaves introduces metal element symbolism. In Chinese culture, round shapes are associated with metal, particularly coins and money. So the jade plant cleverly combines wood, growth, with metal symbolism, wealth, creating a perfect wealth formula. The earthen clay pot we recommended adds earth element. Earth supports wood, and earth represents stability and accumulation. So your complete jade plant setup, wood plant in earth pot, creates a cycle where earth supports wood, wood grows steadily, and the whole combination attracts and accumulates wealth. For water element people, the jade plant might require extra attention. Water can sometimes cause wood to grow too quickly or too erratically. You'll need to be especially careful not to overwater. However, when balanced properly, water element people with healthy jade plants can achieve remarkable wealth accumulation because water knows how to flow resources toward growth. Fire element individuals create an interesting dynamic with the jade plant. In the element cycle, wood feeds fire. Wood creates energy that fire consumes. This means fire element people might find their jade plants grow more slowly or require more care. However, successfully maintaining a jade plant teaches fire people to build sustainable wealth rather than burning through resources quickly. The challenge creates growth. Earth element people have a natural affinity with the jade plant because earth supports wood. An earth element person with a jade plant in a clay pot creates an extraordinarily stable wealth-building foundation. If you're an earth element person, the jade plant is your most powerful wealth tool. Metal element individuals face the challenge that metal cuts wood in the element cycle. You might need to put extra care into your jade plant to keep it healthy. However, the combination of metal person and wood plant, when balanced, creates someone who knows how to accumulate wealth metal while still allowing it to grow wood. Essentially, someone who saves but also invests wisely. Wood element people and the jade plant are a perfect match. Wood resonates with wood, creating amplified growth energy. If you're a wood element person, you should absolutely have multiple jade plants in different areas. Your office, your home, your business, your natural affinity will make them thrive, and they'll exponentially enhance your wealth-building capacity. Let me share some deep traditional wisdom about the jade plant that comes from centuries of Feng Shui practice. There's an old saying among Feng Shui masters: a jade plant that blooms brings unexpected wealth. Jade plants do occasionally produce small white or pink flowers, but it's relatively rare, especially for plants grown indoors. When it happens, it's considered extremely auspicious. If your jade plant blooms, traditional wisdom says this is a signal of significant financial opportunity coming your way. Stay alert for opportunities in the weeks following the bloom. Be ready to act on chances that arise. The bloom is essentially the plant telling you conditions are especially favorable right now for wealth accumulation. Another piece of traditional wisdom: never let a jade plant die if you can help it. If a jade plant is struggling, do everything you can to nurse it back to health. Cutting back damaged parts, repotting in fresh soil, adjusting light and water. These efforts are worth it because allowing a wealth plant to die sends a message to the universe that you're allowing wealth energy to decline in your life. However, if despite your best efforts, a jade plant does die, don't panic and don't see it as a bad omen. Sometimes plants reach their natural end. Thank the plant for its service, return it to the earth, compost or bury it, and get a new one. The cycle of release and renewal can actually represent clearing old wealth patterns and inviting new prosperity energy. Here's another traditional teaching: the larger your jade plant, the more wealth energy it can hold and attract. This is why you see huge, mature jade plants in successful businesses. Some are decades old, massive, tree-like. These aren't just decorations, they're energetic powerhouses. You don't need to start with a huge plant, but understand that as your jade plant grows, its wealth-attracting capacity also grows. Take care of it well, and years from now, you'll have an incredibly powerful Feng Shui tool. Some practitioners believe in the practice of adding coins to the soil of a jade plant or placing coins under the pot. Traditional wisdom supports this as an enhancement. Use clean coins. Chinese coins with square holes are traditional, but any coins work. Place 3 or 9 coins, either mixed into the soil or under the pot. The number 3 represents growth and multiplying, while 9 represents longevity and completion. This practice creates a direct physical link between the plant and money, enhancing the symbolic connection. Now let me address common misconceptions about the jade plant. Some people think any succulent is a jade plant or has the same Feng Shui properties. Not true. While many succulents are beneficial, the specific Crassula ovata species is the traditional jade plant for Feng Shui wealth work. Other succulents might be nice and might have some benefits, but they don't carry the same specific wealth accumulation energy. Another misconception is that bigger is automatically better. While a larger, mature jade plant does hold more energy, an enormous jade plant in a tiny apartment or office can actually be too much. The energy becomes overwhelming for the space. Your jade plant should be proportional to your space. Better to have an appropriately sized, healthy plant than an oversized, struggling one. Some people also think the jade plant needs to be in southeast position at all times, and if that's not possible, there's no point in having one. This isn't true. While southeast is optimal, a jade plant anywhere in your space provides some benefit. Near the entrance is the second best position. Even if you can only place it in a less than ideal spot, a healthy jade plant still supports wealth accumulation. For advanced understanding, let me explain how the jade plant works on the quantum level of Feng Shui practice. Everything in the universe vibrates at certain frequencies. Money and wealth have a specific energetic frequency. The jade plant, through its physical form, growth pattern, and symbolic meaning, vibrates at a frequency that resonates with wealth energy. When you place a jade plant in your space, it's like placing a tuning fork in a room. The plant continuously broadcasts a frequency of wealth accumulation. Your subconscious mind, your energy field, and the energy of your space all begin to entrain with that frequency. Essentially, they begin to vibrate in harmony with wealth energy. This is why simply having a jade plant isn't enough. It must be healthy, well cared for, and positioned appropriately. A sick or poorly placed jade plant is like a tuning fork that's cracked or out of tune. It broadcasts a distorted signal that doesn't help and might even hinder. Advanced practitioners also understand that the jade plant can be programmed with specific wealth intentions. When you water or care for your jade plant, you can hold specific intentions. This plant supports my savings growing tax amount, or this plant helps me accumulate wealth for my child's education, or whatever specific accumulation goal you have. The plant absorbs and amplifies this intention. Here's an advanced practice for particularly ambitious wealth building. Propagate a new jade plant from a leaf or cutting of your existing plant. As this new plant grows from nothing into a full plant, it creates powerful manifestation energy for building something new in your financial life. A new business, a new income stream, a new investment portfolio. The parallel between the tiny cutting growing into a full plant and your tiny idea or investment growing into substantial wealth is energetically powerful. Here's your complete action plan for implementing the jade plant for 2026 wealth accumulation. Step 1. Acquire a jade plant. If possible, receive one as a gift from someone financially successful or propagate one from a thriving plant. If purchasing, choose one with thick, firm leaves and evidence of new growth. Step 2. Choose a clay pot in natural earth tones, sized appropriately for your plant with good drainage. Repot if necessary. Step 3. Find your southeast corner using a compass, or identify a spot near your entrance. This is where your jade plant will live. Step 4. Establish a care routine. Check soil weekly but water only when dry. Wipe leaves monthly. Ensure adequate light. Step 5. As your plant grows, watch for correlation with your financial accumulation. Many people report that as their jade plant thrives and produces new leaves, they see corresponding growth in savings or new income sources. The jade plant is your accumulation specialist. In a challenging financial year like 2026, having strong energy supporting your ability to save, invest, and grow wealth is absolutely essential. Now let's explore our fourth wealth plant. The lucky bamboo, harmony and long-term progress. Our fourth essential wealth plant is one of the most iconic and recognizable Feng Shui plants, the lucky bamboo. Now, I need to clarify something right away. Lucky bamboo isn't actually bamboo. It's scientifically known as Dracaena sanderiana. But it looks like bamboo with its segmented stalks, and more importantly, it carries the same Feng Shui energy as traditional bamboo, which is why it's called lucky bamboo and why it's been fully embraced in Feng Shui practice. The lucky bamboo represents something absolutely crucial for success in 2026. Harmony that produces results, flexibility combined with resilience, and long-term progressive growth. Let me explain why this is so important and why you need this plant working for you in the year ahead. Think about what real bamboo does in nature. When a storm comes with powerful winds, rigid trees might snap and break, but bamboo bends. It flexes in the wind, sometimes bending almost to the ground, but it doesn't break. Once the storm passes, bamboo springs back upright, completely undamaged. This is the perfect metaphor for navigating challenging times financially. In 2026, you're going to face financial storms, unexpected expenses, market changes, challenges in your business or career, periods where money is tighter than you'd like. The lucky bamboo's energy teaches and supports you in being flexible enough to bend with these challenges without breaking, and resilient enough to spring back when the pressure eases. But lucky bamboo represents more than just resilience. It represents what I call harmonious progress. Growth that isn't forced, that flows naturally, that works with circumstances rather than against them. This is crucial understanding for 2026. Some years you can muscle your way to financial success through pure determination and aggressive action. 2026 isn't that kind of year. In 2026, harmony and flow will bring better results than force and aggression. Let me give you the deep historical and cultural context for bamboo in Chinese culture and Feng Shui. Bamboo has been revered in Chinese culture for thousands of years. It's one of the four gentlemen in Chinese art and culture, along with the plum blossom, orchid, and chrysanthemum. These four plants represent noble qualities. Bamboo specifically represents integrity, resilience, and upright character. In ancient China, scholars and officials would keep bamboo to remind themselves to remain upright and moral even when political winds shifted. The bamboo's hollow center represents humility, being open and teachable, not filled with arrogance. The segmented structure represents systematic progress, growing in stages, step by step. In Feng Shui philosophy, bamboo has always been associated with good fortune and protection. Traditional homes would plant bamboo around the property as a protective barrier, literally for privacy and security, but also energetically for protection from negative influences. Bamboo groves were believed to shelter homes from both physical storms and energetic disturbances. The lucky bamboo brings all of this traditional energy into an indoor plant that's easy to care for and perfect for apartments, offices, and modern spaces where planting a bamboo grove isn't possible. Now, here's something fascinating about lucky bamboo. The number of stalks carries specific meanings, and you can actually choose your lucky bamboo based on what type of luck you most want to attract. 3 stalks of lucky bamboo represent happiness, wealth, and long life. This is an excellent general purpose choice, especially for the home. 5 stalks represent the 5 areas of life from which wealth flows: creativity, relationships, health, emotional well-being, and material prosperity. This is particularly good for people who want to approach wealth holistically, understanding that financial success is connected to success in all life areas. 7 stalks represent good health, which might not seem directly related to wealth, but remember, your health is your foundation for everything else. If you're sick, you can't work effectively, make good decisions, or enjoy your wealth. 7 stalks support the health that enables wealth. 8 stalks represent growth, prosperity, and continuous expansion. 8 is an extremely auspicious number in Chinese culture because the word for 8 sounds similar to the word for prosperity or wealth. 8 stalks are particularly powerful for business owners or anyone focused on growing their income or business in 2026. 9 stalks represent good fortune in all endeavors. 9 is the number of completeness and divine favor. 9 stalks are excellent for anyone starting new ventures or wanting blessing on all their activities. 21 stalks, often arranged as 3 groups of 7, are given as towers of lucky bamboo and represent powerful blessings of all kinds: wealth, health, success, happiness. These larger arrangements are often used in businesses. You can choose your lucky bamboo based on which type of energy you most need in 2026. If you need support for a new business or growth in an existing one, 8 stalks would be ideal. If you want overall blessing and protection, 9 stalks would be perfect. Now let's talk about care and placement. And this is where lucky bamboo differs from our other plants, because lucky bamboo typically grows in water with stones rather than in soil. This water and stone arrangement is actually deeply symbolic in Feng Shui. The stones represent stability, the earth element, the foundation of wealth. The water represents flow, the water element, the flow of money and opportunities. The bamboo itself represents wood element, growth, and flexibility. So your lucky bamboo arrangement brings together earth, water, and wood in a perfect wealth-building formula. The stones also serve a practical purpose. They anchor the bamboo stalks so they stand upright. Choose smooth river stones or decorative pebbles. The stones should be clean and attractive because they're part of your wealth display. The water should be changed regularly, about once a week. Use filtered or distilled water if possible, as lucky bamboo can be sensitive to chemicals in tap water. When you change the water, rinse the stones gently and make sure there's no algae or slime buildup. Clean water represents clean, fresh financial energy flowing into your life. The level of water should cover the roots and stones, but doesn't need to fill the entire container. Too much water can actually cause problems. The roots need to be submerged, but the stalks themselves should mostly be above water. Lucky bamboo prefers bright, indirect light. It can tolerate lower light, but won't grow as vigorously. Never place lucky bamboo in direct, harsh sunlight, as this will scorch the leaves, turning them yellow. If your lucky bamboo's leaves start turning yellow, this usually means either too much direct sun, too much fertilizer, or chemicals in the water. If just the tips are yellow, you can carefully trim them with clean scissors. If whole leaves are yellow, you may need to adjust light, change to better quality water, or reduce fertilizer. You can fertilize lucky bamboo occasionally, maybe once every 2 months, with a very diluted liquid fertilizer. But be careful not to over-fertilize. Too much fertilizer can harm the plant. Lucky bamboo actually grows quite well without any fertilizer. Now, where should you place your lucky bamboo? Excellent locations include your desk, near your entrance, in your living room, or in the wealth corner southeast of your office or home. Each placement serves a specific purpose. Lucky bamboo on your desk brings harmonious energy to your work. It helps you work more flexibly with challenges, maintain resilience during difficult projects, and progress steadily toward your professional goals. It's particularly good for people in fields that require both creativity and strategy. Near your entrance, lucky bamboo welcomes positive chi into your space while maintaining a harmonious atmosphere. It helps ensure that everyone entering, including you, family members, clients, or customers, brings and experiences good energy. In your living room, lucky bamboo creates an atmosphere of harmonious prosperity for the whole household. It supports family members in working together toward common goals rather than creating conflict around money issues. Now let me share specific guidance for each zodiac sign regarding lucky bamboo. Rat individuals are naturally adaptable, which aligns well with bamboo's flexible nature. Place lucky bamboo on your desk or in your office to enhance your natural ability to find creative solutions to financial challenges. Ox people tend to be strong and determined, but sometimes inflexible. Lucky bamboo's energy teaches you to be resilient without being rigid. Place it where you make decisions to remind yourself that sometimes the path forward requires flexibility. Tiger individuals are courageous, but can be impulsive. Lucky bamboo helps you maintain your courage while adding the wisdom to bend when necessary, rather than forcing every situation through pure strength. Rabbit people are diplomatic and peaceful, naturally harmonious. Lucky bamboo amplifies your harmonious nature while adding the resilience to ensure your gentle approach still produces strong results. Dragon individuals are powerful and ambitious, but sometimes create conflict through excessive force. Lucky bamboo teaches that harmony often achieves what aggression cannot, and helps you channel your tremendous energy more effectively. Snake people are wise and strategic, which pairs beautifully with lucky bamboo's energy. Place it in your wealth corner to support your natural ability to navigate complex situations with flexibility and wisdom. Horse individuals are energetic and straightforward, sometimes too hasty. Lucky bamboo helps you maintain your forward momentum while developing the flexibility to adjust course when needed, rather than pushing forward, regardless of obstacles. Goat people are creative and gentle, sometimes lacking in resilience when facing difficulties. Lucky bamboo provides energetic support for your creative nature while building the inner strength to persist through challenges. Monkey individuals are clever and adaptable, your naturals at the kind of flexibility lucky bamboo represents. Enhance this strength by placing lucky bamboo prominently in your space. Your natural talents combined with lucky bamboo's energy make you nearly unstoppable in navigating 2026's financial challenges. Rooster people are detail-oriented and perfectionistic, sometimes creating stress through rigidity. Lucky bamboo teaches you that perfection isn't always required. Sometimes good enough with flexibility serves better than perfect with rigidity. Dog individuals are loyal and honest, sometimes stubborn. Lucky bamboo helps you maintain your strong values while being flexible in methods, understanding that there's more than one right way to achieve good outcomes. Pig people are generous and trusting, sometimes too accommodating. Lucky bamboo helps you maintain your harmonious nature while developing resilience, being kind without being taken advantage of. Let's explore the 5-element relationships with lucky bamboo. Lucky bamboo is primarily wood element, growing and alive. The water it grows in adds water element, and the stones add earth element. This creates a productive elemental cycle. Earth holds water, water nourishes wood, and wood grows. For water element people, lucky bamboo is particularly powerful because water nourishes wood. You naturally understand flow and adaptation, and lucky bamboo amplifies these strengths while giving them structure and direction. Fire element individuals work interestingly with lucky bamboo. Wood feeds fire in the element cycle, meaning your fiery energy draws from the bamboo's wood energy. This combination, when balanced, creates someone who has passionate drive fire, tempered with flexibility and wisdom wood. Earth element people provide the foundation that supports lucky bamboo's growth. An earth person caring for lucky bamboo creates stable, long-term growth. The stones earth perfectly support the bamboo wood, creating a powerful wealth-building combination. Metal element people face the challenge that metal cuts wood. You might need to give extra attention to your lucky bamboo. However, when balanced successfully, you combine metal's precision and structure with wood's growth and flexibility. A powerful combination for strategic wealth building. Wood element individuals have natural affinity with lucky bamboo. You understand growth, flexibility, and natural progression. Lucky bamboo amplifies your strengths and helps you manifest them in the material world of wealth and success. Here's traditional wisdom about lucky bamboo that's crucial for 2026. The bamboo teaches that growth happens in stages, not all at once. Notice how bamboo grows in segments with nodes between them. This represents the truth that progress happens in distinct phases, with pauses between phases where you consolidate your gains before the next growth spurt. In 2026, don't expect continuous unbroken financial growth. Instead, expect periods of expansion followed by pauses, followed by more expansion. The pauses aren't failures, they're necessary consolidation periods. Lucky bamboo helps you understand and work with this natural rhythm instead of becoming frustrated by it. Another teaching, bamboo is hollow inside, representing humility and openness. In wealth building, this translates to staying open to learning, staying humble enough to adapt strategies when needed, and not filling yourself with arrogance that prevents growth. Traditional masters also taught that bamboo's rapid growth, some bamboo species can grow several feet in a day, represents the potential for sudden advancement when conditions are right. While you're patiently maintaining flexibility and harmony, you're also positioning yourself to grow rapidly when opportunity appears. Lucky bamboo helps you recognize these opportune moments and act swiftly when they arrive. Let me address common misconceptions. Some people think lucky bamboo needs to be in soil to be a real plant. Not true. Lucky bamboo naturally grows well in water, and this water-based growth is actually preferred in Feng Shui because it combines elements more effectively. Another misconception is that the spiral or twisted bamboo stalks, which you can buy in various ornamental shapes, are less powerful than straight stalks. Actually, the spiral form can add additional positive energy, representing upward growth and rising prosperity. The shape is created when the plant is young and growing, and doesn't harm the plant or reduce its Feng Shui benefits. Some worry that keeping lucky bamboo in the bedroom might be bad Feng Shui. While some practitioners have differing opinions about plants in bedrooms, lucky bamboo is generally considered acceptable because it produces oxygen and creates harmonious energy that actually supports restful sleep. For advanced understanding, lucky bamboo connects to the concept of Wu Wei from Taoist philosophy, action through non-action or effortless effort. This is the art of accomplishing goals by flowing with circumstances rather than forcing against them. In 2026's challenging financial energy, Wu Wei will be an essential strategy. Lucky bamboo continuously broadcasts this energy pattern into your space, subtly teaching you when to push forward and when to bend and flow, when to act and when to wait, when to be firm and when to be flexible. Advanced practitioners also work with lucky bamboo's growth pattern. When your lucky bamboo produces new shoots or grows taller, this is an auspicious sign of increasing prosperity energy. Some practitioners note when new growth appears and correlate it with financial opportunities or growth in their actual finances. Here's your complete action plan for implementing Lucky Bamboo in your 2026 wealth strategy. Step 1. Choose your lucky bamboo based on the number of stalks that matches your specific goals. 8 for business growth and prosperity is particularly good for 2026. Step 2. Prepare a clean, attractive container with smooth stones. Glass containers work well because you can see the water level and root health, but ceramic is also fine. Step 3. Place in appropriate location based on your needs. Desk for work harmony and progress, entrance for welcoming prosperity, living room for family harmony around finances. Step 4. Establish a weekly water-changing routine. Make this a mindful practice where you also clear away any mental or emotional blockages to your financial progress. Step 5. As your lucky bamboo thrives, notice how your ability to handle financial challenges with grace and flexibility improves. The lucky bamboo teaches you to be like water, flowing around obstacles rather than crashing against them, filling the shape of whatever container holds you rather than fighting that shape, and always moving forward toward your goals even if the path isn't straight. Now, let's explore our 5th and final essential wealth plant for 2026, the Pothos Golden Plant, Continuous Flow of Abundance. Our 5th lucky plant might surprise you because it's so common that many people overlook its powerful Feng Shui properties. The pothos, scientifically known as Epipremnum aureum. You might know this plant as Golden Pothos, Devil's Ivy, or simply as the Golden Plant. It's that trailing vine with heart-shaped leaves that seems to grow endlessly with minimal care. Here's why the pothos is absolutely essential for your 2026 wealth strategy. It represents continuous, unstoppable flow. No matter what conditions you put this plant in, low light, infrequent watering, small pot, large pot, it just keeps growing. It sends out new vines, new leaves, constantly extending, spreading, climbing, filling whatever space is available. This quality of relentless, natural growth is exactly the energy we need in 2026. Remember, 2026 has challenging financial energy where money doesn't flow as easily as we'd like. The pothos helps counteract this by generating continuous flow energy regardless of conditions. It's like having a green growing generator of abundance continuously running in your space. Let me explain the deep significance of how pothos grows. It doesn't grow straight up like bamboo, and it doesn't grow in a compact bush like Jade Plant. Instead, it spreads. It reaches out in all directions. It finds new paths. If you hang a pothos, it grows downward in cascading vines. If you give it something to climb, it grows upward. If you let it trail across the surface, it spreads horizontally. This omnidirectional growth pattern represents opportunity flowing toward you from all directions, multiple streams of income, diverse sources of prosperity. It represents not putting all your resources in one basket, but rather spreading your wealth-building efforts across multiple areas so that if one stream slows down, others continue to flow. The heart-shaped leaves of the pothos are significant too. In Feng Shui, heart shapes represent love and emotional connection, but they also represent sincerity and genuine intention. Financial success built on sincere effort and genuine value creation is stable and lasting. Success built on manipulation or shortcuts is fragile and temporary. The pothos's heart-shaped leaves represent building wealth through genuine contribution. Now let's discuss the name Golden Pothos and what this means energetically. Many pothos varieties have yellow or golden variegation, golden streaks or patches on the leaves. This golden coloring is hugely significant in Feng Shui because gold represents wealth, prosperity, and abundance. Having golden coloring on your wealth plant is like having double prosperity energy. Even the common name devil's ivy, earned because the plant is nearly impossible to kill and will grow in the dark, speaks to its Feng Shui power. A plant that refuses to die, that thrives in adverse conditions, that keeps growing no matter what. This is the kind of resilience and persistent prosperity we want in our financial lives. Let me give you historical and cultural context. The pothos isn't native to China, so it doesn't have ancient roots in traditional Feng Shui texts. However, modern Feng Shui masters quickly recognized its powerful energetic qualities when it became available. The plant's behavior, its persistent growth, its adaptability, its ability to thrive with minimal resources, perfectly embodies principles that have been valued in Chinese philosophy for centuries. There's a concept in Chinese philosophy called Sheng Sheng Bu Ten Wai, continuous life, endless growth, perpetual renewal. This represents the natural order of the universe, constantly creating, growing, renewing. The pothos physically manifests this principle. No matter how many vines you have, new ones keep forming. No matter how many leaves, more keep growing. It's perpetual abundance in plant form. For 2026 specifically, the pothos addresses one of the biggest financial challenges of the year: stagnation. When money energy is difficult and doesn't flow easily, people often experience financial stagnation, where income plateaus, opportunities dry up, and growth seems stuck. The pothos actively fights stagnation by generating continuous flow energy. Now let's talk about placement, and this is where pothos differs significantly from our other plants. While the other plants we've discussed work best in specific locations or corners, the pothos is most powerful when it's allowed to be visible and flowing, hanging, trailing, or climbing in a way that creates a visual sense of downward or outward flow. The ideal placement for pothos is hanging in a prominent location. When the vines cascade downward, this represents abundance flowing down toward you, blessings descending, prosperity cascading into your life. This downward flow is considered extremely auspicious in Feng Shui. Imagine a waterfall, water cascading down, constantly flowing, beautiful and powerful. This is what a healthy, thriving, hanging pothos looks like energetically. It's a waterfall of abundance cascading into your space. Excellent locations for hanging or trailing pothos include high shelves where the vines can cascade down, hanging planters near windows on top of cabinets, or tall furniture where the vines can trail down the sides in corners that feel dark or stagnant, to bring life and flow along hallways, to create a sense of flowing energy through transitional spaces. Now, here's something interesting. Darker corners or areas of your office or home actually benefit most from pothos. These are areas where energy tends to stagnate, where it feels heavy or dead. The pothos's ability to thrive even in low light means it can bring life and flowing energy to exactly the spaces that need it most. If you have a long hallway that feels dull or lifeless, placing pothos along that hallway, either trailing from above or in pots along the sides, creates a river of abundance flowing through that space. Every time you walk through that hallway, you're walking through flowing prosperity energy. For offices with cubicles or divided spaces, pothos can be placed on cubicle tops or partitions, allowing the vines to cascade down. This brings flowing, abundant energy into what can otherwise be rigid, stagnant office environments. Now let's talk about care. The pothos is famously easy to care for, which is part of its power. A plant that gives so much prosperity energy while requiring so little effort is a perfect metaphor for the kind of wealth we want: abundant returns on minimal investment. Pothos tolerates low light, but grows more vigorously in bright, indirect light. The more light it gets, the more golden variegation the leaves will show, more golden color equal to more wealth energy. However, avoid direct harsh sunlight, which can scorch the leaves. Water your pothos when the top inch or two of soil feels dry. It's forgiving. It can handle some neglect and will usually bounce back quickly even if you forget to water it occasionally. However, it grows best with consistent moisture. Don't let it sit in waterlogged soil, but don't let it completely dry out for extended periods either. One of the best things about pothos is how easily it propagates. You can cut a vine, place it in water, and it will develop roots within weeks. Then you can plant it or keep it growing in water. This easy propagation is hugely significant for wealth energy. It represents multiplication, the ability to create more from what you have, expansion of prosperity. Some practitioners actually recommend deliberately propagating your pothos, giving the new plants to friends or colleagues, or placing them in different areas of your own space. Each new plant you propagate represents a new flow of abundance in your life. Keep your pothos healthy by occasionally trimming back overly long vines. This encourages the plant to grow fuller with more vines rather than just making a few vines longer. Fuller growth represents abundance in multiple areas rather than just one narrow stream. Wipe the leaves occasionally to keep them clean and glossy. Dusty leaves can't effectively generate prosperity energy. Clean, shiny leaves that look healthy and vibrant broadcast strong, abundant signals. Let me share zodiac-specific guidance for working with pothos. Rat individuals are naturally resourceful and opportunistic, qualities that align well with pothos's adaptable, opportunity-finding nature. Place pothos in your office or workspace where its flowing energy can amplify your natural ability to spot and seize opportunities. Ox people are steady and hardworking, but sometimes miss opportunities because you're too focused on established methods. The pothos's tendency to reach in new directions can inspire you to explore new paths to prosperity while maintaining your reliable nature. Tiger individuals are bold pioneers who benefit from multiple streams of income rather than relying on one source. Pothos's omnidirectional growth supports your natural tendency to pursue multiple ventures and helps ensure all these ventures keep flowing toward success. Rabbit people are diplomatic and careful, sometimes too conservative in exploring new opportunities. The pothos teaches that exploring new paths doesn't require dramatic risk. The plant grows in new directions while staying rooted in its stable base. You can expand your prosperity safely. Dragon individuals naturally attract abundant opportunities, but sometimes struggle to manage them all. Multiple pothos plants in your space help ensure that all your various ventures and income streams keep flowing productively rather than getting tangled or stagnant. Snake people are intuitive and strategic, good at recognizing patterns and opportunities. Pothos amplifies your natural gifts by ensuring that the opportunities you recognize continue to flow toward manifestation rather than evaporating before you can act on them. Horse individuals are energetic and freedom-loving, often preferring multiple smaller ventures to one large commitment. Pothos perfectly supports this approach, representing diverse, flowing streams of prosperity rather than a single rigid source. Goat people are creative and gentle, sometimes struggling with the practical side of converting your creative gifts into steady income. Pothos helps bridge creativity and practical prosperity. Its flowing, organic growth represents creative energy manifesting as material abundance. Monkey individuals are innovative and clever, always coming up with new ideas for making money. Pothos supports your innovative nature by ensuring that your many ideas can all flow forward simultaneously rather than competing with each other for your energy and resources. Rooster people are detail-oriented and methodical, sometimes creating systems that are too rigid to adapt to changing opportunities. Pothos teaches flexible flow. Having structure, the vine has structure. While remaining adaptable, it grows in whatever direction serves it best. Dog individuals are loyal and honest, often sticking with one employer or business longer than might serve your best interests. Pothos encourages you to explore multiple opportunities without abandoning your loyal nature. You can be committed to your primary work while allowing other prosperity streams to flow. Pig people are generous and big-hearted, sometimes giving away resources without ensuring your own prosperity flows continuously. Pothos teaches that abundance can keep flowing for everyone. The plant doesn't stop growing because it gave a cutting to another plant. You can be generous while maintaining continuous prosperity flow. Now let's explore the 5-element relationships with Pothos. As a plant, Pothos is primarily wood element. Its vining, flowing growth pattern also associates it with water element behavior. Flowing, finding the path of least resistance, filling available space. This wood-water combination is particularly powerful for wealth because water represents flow and opportunity, while wood represents growth and manifestation. Together, they represent opportunities flowing toward you and manifesting as real, growing prosperity. For water element people, Pothos is one of your most powerful allies. You naturally understand flow, and Pothos gives structure and manifestation to your flowing nature. Water element people often have many ideas and opportunities but struggle to manifest them. Pothos helps bridge that gap. Fire element individuals can benefit greatly from Pothos's tempering influence. Fire's quick, intense energy is balanced by Pothos's steady, continuous flow. Instead of burning bright, then burning out, you maintain steady heat that keeps prosperity flowing consistently. Earth element people provide stable foundation for Pothos's flowing growth. An earth person with thriving Pothos creates sustainable, continuously flowing prosperity. The stable foundation, earth, allows the flow, water-like growth to continue reliably rather than becoming chaotic. Metal element individuals face some challenge with Pothos since metal cuts wood. You might need to give extra care to your Pothos. However, when balanced, you combine metal's ability to attract and concentrate wealth with Pothos's ability to keep it flowing. Essentially, you attract resources and keep them circulating productively. Wood element people and Pothos are natural partners. The plant thrives under your care, and you instinctively understand its message of continuous growth and expansion. Multiple Pothos plants in your space create an extraordinarily powerful prosperity field. Let me share traditional wisdom about flowing plants like Pothos. There's an ancient Feng Shui principle: qi flows with water and stops with stagnation. Prosperity is a form of qi. Just like water, it needs to flow. When it stops flowing, it stagnates and eventually disappears. The Pothos is a physical representation of this principle. Continuous flow, never stagnant, always moving and growing. Having this plant in your space serves as a constant reminder that prosperity requires flow. You must keep money moving, earning, investing, saving, spending wisely, earning more. The flow must continue. This doesn't mean spending recklessly. It means keeping energy moving productively. Pothos demonstrates this perfectly. It keeps growing and expanding, prosperity flowing in, but it stays rooted in its pot, maintaining your foundation and security. Growth and stability working together. Another traditional teaching: plants that easily propagate represent multiplication of blessings. The easier a plant is to propagate, the more it represents the principle that abundance multiplies when shared. Pothos is one of the easiest plants to propagate, teaching that your prosperity multiplies when you help others prosper. Some practitioners actually gift pothos cuttings to people they want to see succeed, or to people they're doing business with, understanding that mutual prosperity flows more abundantly than solo success. When you cut a piece of your pothos to give away, your original plant grows back even fuller. Perfect metaphor for generosity, creating more abundance. Let me address misconceptions. Some people worry that trailing plants represent downward falling energy and might cause finances to drop. This is a misunderstanding. Downward flowing vines represent abundance cascading down to you, like blessings raining down from above. It's considered auspicious, not negative. Another misconception is that pothos is too common to be a powerful Feng Shui plant. Remember, being common means this plant has proven itself in countless environments and conditions. Its ubiquity speaks to its resilience and adaptability, which are exactly the qualities that make it Feng Shui powerful. Some think you need a massive pothos to get benefits. Not true. Even a small pothos on a shelf will create flowing energy. As it grows over time, its energy grows too. Starting small and allowing it to expand naturally actually creates a beautiful parallel with your wealth journey. For advanced understanding, pothos works on the principle of effortless prosperity. Not prosperity without effort, but prosperity that flows naturally from right action rather than from struggle and force. The plant grows with minimal intervention. You just provide basic conditions and growth happens naturally. This teaches an advanced wealth principle. Create the right conditions, knowledge, skills, positioning, relationships, then allow prosperity to flow naturally rather than trying to force it. The pothos demonstrates that exponential growth doesn't require exponential effort. It requires the right conditions plus consistency. Advanced practitioners also use pothos for energy mapping. Watch where your pothos sends new vines. These directions often indicate where new opportunities will appear in your life. If vines strongly grow toward a window, opportunities might come from outside your current circle. If they grow back toward the room center, opportunities might come from deepening current relationships or ventures. Here's your complete action plan for implementing pothos in your 2026 wealth strategy. Step 1. Acquire one or more pothos plants. Multiple smaller plants in different locations creates more flow energy than one large plant in one spot. Step 2. Identify dark corners, stagnant areas, or transitional spaces, hallways, in your office or home. These are prime pothos locations. Step 3. Choose hanging planters or high shelves to allow downward flow. Let vines trail freely rather than constantly trimming them back. Step 4. Water consistently when soil surface dries. Wipe leaves monthly. Enjoy watching constant new growth. Step 5. When you notice new vines or leaves, recognize this as new prosperity energy activating. Stay alert for corresponding new opportunities in your actual finances. Step 6. Consider propagating pothos to expand flow energy to additional spaces or to share with others, which multiplies your own abundance. The pothos reminds you that prosperity doesn't have to be difficult, forced, or stressed. Like the plant that just keeps growing, regardless of conditions, your wealth can keep flowing regardless of external challenges when you work with natural principles of abundance. Activating your wealth plants for maximum effect in 2026. Now that we've explored all 5 essential lucky plants for 2026, let me share crucial guidance on how to activate their maximum potential and work with them as a complete wealth-building system. First, understand that these 5 plants aren't meant to work in isolation. They work together as a complete ecosystem of prosperity energy. Each plant addresses a different aspect of wealth building. Peace Lily gives you the clarity and wisdom to make good decisions. Snake Plant protects your success from negative influences. Jade Plant helps you accumulate and retain wealth. Lucky Bamboo provides resilience and harmonious progress. Pothos ensures continuous flow of opportunities and income. Together, they create a complete wealth-building environment. You don't need all five to benefit, even one or two will help, but having all five creates a synergistic effect where each plant amplifies the others. Now, let me give you essential guidance on positioning these plants for maximum effect. You need to consider the Bagua map of your space. The Bagua is the Feng Shui energy map that divides any space into 9 zones, each governing different life areas. The southeast sector represents wealth and abundance. This is the ideal location for your jade plant, which specifically focuses on accumulation. You can also place lucky bamboo or pothos here for additional wealth energy. The north sector represents career and life path. If you want career advancement that leads to greater income, place plants in this sector. Peace lily works well here because clear thinking supports wise career decisions. The east sector represents family and health. Remember, your health and family harmony affect your ability to build wealth. Plants in the east sector support the foundation that prosperity rests on. Your entrance, regardless of which direction it faces, should have snake plant protection. This is non-negotiable. The entrance is too energetically important to leave unprotected. Dark corners and stagnant areas need pothos to activate flow and prevent energy from dying in those spaces. Now, let's discuss care and maintenance as a spiritual practice. How you care for your plants matters beyond just keeping them alive. The care you give your plants reflects and reinforces your relationship with prosperity. When you water your plants, do it mindfully. Don't just dump water and walk away. Take a moment to appreciate the plant, notice new growth, check the overall health, and hold positive intentions. This mindful care creates an energetic feedback loop. You give loving attention to your prosperity plants, and they amplify loving prosperity energy in your space. When you clean the leaves, wipe them gently with appreciation. Each leaf is working for you energetically. Cleaning them isn't just hygiene, it's honor and respect for your wealth allies. When you notice unhealthy leaves, yellowing, browning, damaged, remove them promptly. Leaving dead or dying matter on your plants blocks the flow of new energy. Removing it makes space for new growth, which parallels releasing what no longer serves you financially to make space for new prosperity. Here's something most people miss. Talk to your plants. Yes, seriously. Not out loud if that feels awkward, but mentally. Thank them for supporting your financial goals. Share your intentions with them. Plants respond to human attention and intention. There's actually scientific research supporting this, but Feng Shui has known it for centuries. Now let's discuss common mistakes that reduce your plant's effectiveness. The single biggest mistake is neglect. Remember, these aren't just decorations. They're active participants in your wealth-building strategy. Dusty, thirsty, struggling plants broadcast struggling energy into your space. Another common mistake is choosing plastic pots for all plants. Plastic is a dead material, petroleum-based, with no life force. Clay, ceramic, or wood pots that come from earth have their own subtle energy that supports the plant's work. The exception is water-based plants like lucky bamboo, where glass or ceramic containers are fine. Some people make the mistake of hiding their prosperity plants. They tuck them away in corners where they're barely visible. Your wealth plants should be visible and prominent, though not blocking pathways or creating clutter. You want to see them regularly, and you want their energy to be accessible and active in your space. Another mistake is thinking bigger is always better. A huge plant that's struggling or that overwhelms a small space creates imbalanced energy. Better to have appropriately sized healthy plants than oversized struggling ones. Some people give up too quickly when a plant struggles. Remember, plants are living things. Sometimes they need adjustment periods, different light, different watering schedules. Work with your plant to find what it needs rather than abandoning it at the first sign of difficulty. Now, let me share an advanced practice for those who want to maximize results. You can create what I call a wealth plant activation ritual to consciously program your plants with specific intentions. Choose a propitious day, perhaps the new moon, for new beginnings, or a day when the moon is in an earth sign for manifestation and grounding, or simply a day when you feel positive and energized. Gather all your wealth plants, or at least the ones you can move. Clean each plant, wipe leaves, trim any dead matter, freshen water, check soil moisture. As you care for each plant, state clearly and specifically what you're asking it to support. For example, to Peace Lily, I ask you to support clear, wise financial decisions. Help me see opportunities clearly and choose well. To Snake Plant, I ask you to protect my prosperity from negative influences and help me overcome fear and self-doubt. To Jade Plant, I ask you to help me accumulate wealth steadily and retain what I earn through wise management. To Lucky Bamboo, I ask you to help me remain flexible and resilient through challenges while making continuous progress. To Pothos, I ask you to keep opportunities and prosperity flowing continuously from multiple directions. Then place each plant in its designated location with intention and gratitude. This ritual creates a conscious relationship between you and your plants, dramatically increasing their effectiveness. Let me also share guidance on what to do if you don't have space for all 5 plants, or if your lifestyle makes caring for multiple plants difficult. If you can only have 1 or 2 plants, choose based on your biggest need. If your biggest challenge is making good financial decisions, prioritize Peace Lily. If you face jealousy, competition, or obstacles, prioritize Snake Plant. If you need to build savings and accumulate wealth, prioritize Jade Plant. If you need resilience during a difficult transition, prioritize Lucky Bamboo. If you feel financially stagnant and need fresh opportunities, prioritize Pothos. If you can have 3 plants, I recommend Peace, Lily Wisdom, Snake Plant Protection, and Jade Plant Accumulation as a core trio covering decision-making, protection, and results. For offices and workspaces, Snake Plant and Pothos are particularly good because they tolerate lower light and less frequent care. For homes, all 5 plants work well in different rooms. Peace Lily in bedroom or living room, Snake Plant at entrance, Jade Plant in wealth corner, Lucky Bamboo on desk or in living room, Pothos in darker areas that need energizing. Now let me address the question some of you might be thinking: do these plants really work, or is this just superstition? Here's what I know. From 40 years of practice, Feng Shui works through multiple mechanisms simultaneously. On one level, healthy plants do improve air quality, which affects your mental clarity and health, which affects your decision-making and productivity. On another level, having specific plants in specific places affects your subconscious mind. Every time you see your jade plants coin like leaves, your subconscious receives the message: accumulation, wealth, growth. This programs your reticular activating system to notice opportunities for accumulation. On an energetic level, plants participate in the chi exchange of your environment, and healthy plants contribute positive, growing energy while filtering negative or stagnant energy. On a behavioral level, committing to caring for prosperity plants means you're making a daily or weekly commitment to your financial well-being. This commitment itself creates positive change in how you approach money. So does it work? Yes, but it works best when you combine these plants with actual wise financial behavior. The plants support you, guide you, protect you, and amplify your efforts. They don't replace effort, they enhance it. Think of it this way: if you want to succeed at sports, having the right equipment helps tremendously. Trying to play tennis with a broken racket puts you at a disadvantage. Having a good racket doesn't automatically make you a champion, but it removes obstacles and supports your efforts. Prosperity plants are your Feng Shui equipment for wealth building. They create optimal energetic conditions for your financial success. Before we finish, let me give you specific activation guidance for January 2026, since we're right at the beginning of the year. The period from now until the Lunar New Year, which falls in late January 2026, is an excellent time to set up your prosperity plants. You're essentially preparing your energetic garden before the New Year energy fully arrives. Get your plants now while we still have good rainy season weather. They'll establish themselves during this favorable growing period. Position them according to the guidance I've given: southeast for wealth accumulation plants, entrance for protection, dark areas for flow activation. Care for them consistently through January, establishing your routine and your conscious relationship with each plant. By the time the Lunar New Year arrives, your plants will be settled and activated, ready to support you through all of 2026. Remember, wealth building is a journey, not a destination. These plants support you through that journey. They're not magic wands that instantly create wealth. They're wise guides and powerful allies that help you navigate the path to prosperity more effectively. Treat them with respect, care for them consistently, work with their energies consciously, and pair their support with wise financial decisions and diligent effort. The results will follow. Now, before we close, I want to share one final piece of traditional wisdom that ties everything together. In classical Feng Shui, there's a teaching: heaven's luck, earth's luck, and human luck combine to create destiny. Heaven's luck is what you're born with: your zodiac sign, your astrological chart, your innate talents and challenges. You can't change heaven's luck, but you can work with it. Earth's luck is your environment, your home, your office, your surroundings. This is where Feng Shui works. By optimizing your environment with these 5 lucky plants, you're maximizing your earth luck. Human luck is your choices, your effort, your behavior. This is entirely in your control. The 5 lucky plants I've shared with you today are tools for optimizing your earth luck. They create an environment that supports your financial success, but they work best when combined with good human luck choices, wise decisions, diligent effort, ethical behavior, continuous learning. Use these plants as I've taught you. Care for them well, work with their energies consciously, and pair their support with your own wise action. This combination of optimized earth luck and strong human luck will help you navigate 2026's financial challenges successfully and build the wealth and security you desire. I hope this deep exploration of the top 5 lucky plants for 2026 has been valuable for you. What's your Chinese zodiac sign? Comment below and let me know which of these 5 plants you're most excited to work with. Have you had experiences with any of these plants already? Share your stories. I love hearing how Feng Shui practices manifest in people's real lives. If you're finding this comprehensive teaching valuable, please hit the like button. It helps this information reach more people who can benefit from traditional Feng Shui wisdom. Subscribe to this channel for more in-depth teachings on Chinese astrology, Feng Shui, and traditional metaphysical practices. I share this knowledge to help you create better lives through ancient wisdom. Thank you for spending this time learning with me. May these 5 lucky plants bring you clarity, protection, accumulation, resilience, and continuous flowing abundance throughout 2026 and beyond. Until next time, this is Grandmaster Lin, wishing you prosperity, wisdom, and harmony on your wealth-building journey.